Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritually Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a deeper look at the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, before we do any type of recap or look ahead, I've got an announcement to make. So, I had said in a previous video that I didn't do a special for the month of May, mainly because I needed some time for myself to touch dirt. I have done a lot of touching dirt. I actually just got done reframing my garden beds. No, I have not posted the pictures yet because I had a lot of people asking when the pictures are coming out. Right after I got done reframing everything, it rained. I stepped out on my back patio and then I went. I have rolled my right ankle. I have busted my left knee. I'm a little gimpy right now. So yeah, I'm a little bit more focused on this than putting a picture out there. So I will post the pictures later on. They're still not completely done because I need to stain and fill them in with dirt, but it's been raining, so I can't really do the stain. So that is what it is. It's ready to be stained as soon as I can get dry and less windy days. Now, the whole reason for bringing all of that up, though, was the fact that we're going into Gemini season. We're going into my season, babies. I'm a Gemini. And I figured going with the concept of duality and the twins, that we should do something that kind of complements that. And I'm going to run a special, but this is going to be specific to my existing clients. There's a reason why, and I'll explain that at the end. But for my existing clients, now that it is Gemini season, from now until the end of June, if you book a session with me, paying full price, because if you're booking a session as an existing client, you are paying full price, automatically you are going to get a coupon towards another reading. So it's like a BOGO type of thing. The reason I'm saying a coupon is because it can go one of two ways depending on what you decide. I can either give you a coupon as a discount towards your next reading, or you can take that coupon and gift it to someone that has expressed that they are wanting to have a reading, but they've never had a reading before. So by purchasing your own reading, you are also then covering their reading. If you decide not to gift it out, you're going to keep it for yourself. That's fine. No big deal. It is completely your choice. Booking a session with me at 60 minutes is $50. If you're doing a 90-minute session, that is $70. And then automatically we'll talk as to like which way you're going to go, whether you're going to keep it for yourself or gift it to another person, because that's going to affect whatever I give you. And that is, again, specific to my existing clients. Now, why is it so specific to them? Because if you're a first-time person coming to me, you don't pay full price. You get a discounted rate. So I'm not going to do another special on top of the discounted rate for you guys. If you're coming to me for the first time, you get a discounted rate. An hour long with me is going to be $35. 90 minutes with me is $50 when you're coming in for the first time. So again, if you're coming in for the first time, you don't pay full price, you don't get the coupon. If you are an existing client, you are paying full price, you are automatically going to get something towards the next reading, whether it's something that you gift to another person or it's something that you hold on to for yourself. You're going to get a coupon towards your next reading. So, oh, I know that's a lot. Making sure everybody's on a clear page with that one, because I've already had people messaging me like wanting to set up their next readings, and I haven't quite finished out their transactions yet because I knew I wanted to do this so that way everybody can hear the announcements all at the same time. So there you go. If you purchase a reading from me now that it is Gemini season, all the way through the month of June, full price readings are going to automatically get a coupon to either towards your next reading or towards a future reading. So there it is. This full moon in Sagittarius is kind of going to be a sunrise full moon for a lot of people. And I think that's really interesting because, again, something I said in the previous episode that I'm bringing up again now, there is something about this full moon that speaks to both a beginning and ending simultaneously. Sunrise is the end of night, but it's also the start of the day. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. And while we're going through this full moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter is going to be having a conjunction to Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Something is coming together, but for many people, whatever is coming together for the last time. It's the last green light. It's the last go ahead. It's the last part of a negotiation. It's the last part of a dispute. And whatever is going to come together is going to immediately result in a different type of focus, in going into another area, in doing something differently. And depending on how this is going to work for you guys, I do feel like for a lot of people, it is going to hit you in a very financial type of way. So Venus rules money. It does. Associated with the second sign, Taurus, second house, that's going to go into your finance and your assets and things along these lines. Jupiter rules wealth and abundance and prosperity, the masses. For a lot of people, what is going to come together is going to have financial elements involved. We've seen some of this in the news already. We've seen people filing for bankruptcies, big companies filing for it. People are starting to take their businesses to the next level. They're looking at taking their companies public and putting it onto the stock exchange. We're seeing some type of transition. And little things are meant to come together. And for a lot of people, this full moon is a level up full moon. Now, to be clear, the signs that are going to be the most impacted by this full moon are going to be mutable signs. You're on deck. Y'all are hot, hot, hot. Okay. Fixed signs, we're not getting a break yet. Scorpio risings, Leo risings, Taurus risings, Aquarius risings, you're not getting a break yet because this Venus-Jupiter conjunction is happening in Taurus. The ones that are getting the least amount of impact when it comes to this full moon is going to be cardinal signs, which it's fair. The eclipse axis did a lot for you guys. That Mercury retrograde in Aries, it really did a lot on you guys. So you guys have really been feeling the impact of things already. And now we're in the next chapter of something. We're bridging into the next phase. We're going to get set up with something that was shaken up during eclipse season, during that retrograde. And now it's going to amplify. It's going to get busier. It's going to get louder. We're tuning into the next frequency. We're building our preface into the next chapter. We're going in the new direction. We're getting into the new car. We're hitting the new trajectory. We're going into a different direction. The highway lanes expand. It's going to get busier after this full moon. Now, when it comes to Venus and Jupiter, they have a lot of rulership in things tied to the body. Anything that gives us pleasure, hearing music, smelling perfume, the taste buds, the mouth, the throat, all the way down once that goes into the stomach. The liver's from Jupiter, the kidneys are from Venus. Your sexual organs can be connected to Venus. Jupiter rules your nervous system, the sciatic part of your nerves, your hips and thighs, your feet. And there can be physical ways these transits can manifest in your body. And you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for things that are impacting the feet. This is not a good transit and a good week for people that have issues with their blood sugar, because they can have sudden spikes in ways that they're not anticipating. There can be an unsuspecting element, a clueless element, something that we couldn't have fathomed sooner, because this full moon is also got the ruler, Jupiter, while yes, going through that conjunction with Venus, sextiling Neptune. The thing about Neptune and Jupiter is they're both very expansive energies. Expand, 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 expand. The difference between Jupiter and Neptune, ironically enough, is Saturn. In traditional rulership, Saturn was believed to be the edge of the universe. Everything we did had to be done within the bounds of Saturn. Then Uranus came and blew all that up, broke the rules, broke tradition, broke us away from something. Many of us have had something happen lately that has broke us away from something or someone. We've had a sudden and exciting change recently because of all the Uranus transits that we had leading into this full moon. But beyond that is Neptune. And Neptune does not know the limitations of expansion, the limitations of his influence, because he's never had to work within the bounds of Saturn. So it just keeps going and going and going and going. And if you start to expand something so far, you can't see from one end to the other, something is not clear. It bends in directions that we wouldn't normally bend. Something is not clear. There's a hopefulness that things will go well, that this meeting goes well, that this partnership will happen, that this healing will occur. There's a hopefulness based off of Neptune's energy. For many of us, there is a hopefulness. And I meant what I said in the weekly episode. There is some part of this full moon that feels like it's directly tied to divine timing. But there's something there that is perfectly timed exactly as it needs to be. So that way we can venture into this new direction, go into this new chapter, that we can go a little bit faster on the highway. Because once we perfect this full moon, Venus will immediately, the same day, go into Gemini. By the end of this week, Jupiter will also move into Gemini. So whatever we are agreeing to, whatever is changing, whatever is leveling up, whatever is occurring in this full moon for you is going to immediately shift your focus. We're taking it to the next level. We're finally getting some defined direction. We're finally getting the keys to the car. But there's something that's meant to adjust, expand, and change. And whatever that is going to be is going to lead to the busier, more announced and pronounced types of energy that will be going through the rest of the Gemini transits and just going through June. We are in this energy that is full steam ahead, but something needs to come together for us to understand that next phase, that next chapter, that next exit. There's something that's meant to come to light that shifts our focus when it comes to this full moon. And for a lot of people, it's hitting you in your financial houses. This is why I specifically said something about the mutable signs and the fixed signs. It's hitting you in your career houses. It's hitting you in your financial houses. It's shifting the way that you see partnership. It's shifting something in your direction and in your mindset. It's putting something into perspective. And for so many of us, it is something a very long time coming. We're getting something defined and built. And as we go through the rest of this month, more definition, more awareness, more changes in the communication, more changes in the dialogue, more expressions in what will be coming through next. This is a great full moon for so many people. And even if you are a cardinal sign, specifically, I'm going to say this now for Capricorn risings. I feel like for most of you, this is going to be one that signifies healing and personal happiness more so than being blindsided, because for you guys, it's a 12th house full moon. It's going to change a trajectory whenever it comes to you guys. And when it comes to the rest of the cardinal signs, it's going to be something that speaks to like faith and work, where other people, again, we're having changes in our identity and our career and our goals and our finances and our connections. But regardless of whether this is hitting you in a strong place or a lesser place, I'm not going to say weaker. It might not be as strong as what we've had during eclipse season. We are shifting our focus and shifting our direction as to where we're going next. Because again, all of the month of May was becoming more accustomed to a new normal, to a new direction, to new long-term commitments and changes and passions. And now that we're finalizing those commitments, finalizing those agreements, finalizing those partnerships, getting that settlement handled, getting that legal matter handled, whatever it is, once we get it set, once it is understood, we're running with it. It's going places. We're doing more with it. So, for those that have never listened to a full moon or new moon video, that is okay. The way I read everything is from a whole house system. And the way I look at it is, I don't really care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees. The entire zodiac sign that your ascendant is in is your first house. The entire sign is your first house. And every numerical house that follows will now be associated with the next zodiac signs. So with that being said, move that over to the side. We're going to get into Aries and Aries risings. Again, your cardinals, little cardinal signs. Oh, now the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is hitting in your second house of money, your assets. You can be making some type of commitment that has some type of financial element. Now, for you guys, you might not be seeing everything clearly when that becomes the case. Why do I say that? Because not only do we have this Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your second house of money, but we have Neptune in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. For some of you, it's healing. And that can be a good thing. Having a full moon in your 9th house can mean having something come through that tests your faith, that makes you question your direction. In other ways, it's going to be something tied to travel. And you're going to finally make some type of a commitment to travel, an agreement in travel. So that way you can finally deal with something. A new path and a new horizon is coming through. If many of you are traveling around this time frame, it's meant to, again, instigate healing and growth and the potential of overcoming something, specifically things that you were not anticipating that kept coming up from the past. There can be things tied to institutions whenever it comes to the 9th house energy, and you need to be aware of that also. Now, when I say institutions, we're all in different age groups, so let's be aware of what institutions I mean. Anything that is considered an institution, regardless of the person. You go to a hospital, it doesn't matter the surgeon that's in the hospital most of the time, especially if they're a hospitalist, you went to the hospital. If you have to go to the courthouse, it doesn't matter which court clerk you talk to, you're going to the courthouse. Institutions, going into the prison or the county jail, that's an institution. Some of you might be going into the county jail to bail somebody out. Be aware of that. That is not unheard of, especially whenever it comes to the 12th house energies being tied to this. So let's be prepared. All right. Again, full moon in the 9th house, but the ruler, Jupiter, is in your second house of money, making a conjunction to Venus in your second house of money. For many of you, whatever is coming through is something that's going to impact your finances. You have either been doing the work or you're about to be doing the work based off of the opportunities and the commitments that are ahead of you. The thing about the Two of Wands is it's the fork in the road. You have gone down one path for a while, but now there is another opportunity. There is another potential. Which path do you follow? You are at the fork. Many of you are at the fork, and you're looking at whether you should continue doing something on your own, because on your own has worked. Nine of Cups. And with the Nine of Cups, what I love about this is it's better to be lucky than smart. With the Nine of Cups, luck is on your side. Luck has been on your side. But there is the potential of whatever is being agreed to, whatever is coming together, that can have a lot of promise, that can have a lot of hope, that can have a lot of big ideas and big dreams and big goals coming through. And it doesn't mean that the work that you've done on your own isn't correct or hasn't been promising. It has been. But you only grow so much in that energy. If you're wanting to expand something, if you're wanting to take something to the next level, you have to look at other possibilities. And for some of you, that is going to literally mean partnerships. Maybe not in the immediate, but considering the sun is making a trine to Pluto in the same time frame, there can be things tied to how you're connecting to other people that are meant to change based off what's being connected, based off what's coming together. And it can either push you into an energy where you no longer want to be friends with somebody because Pluto's retrograde and the sun's moving away from Pluto. Especially if they have that situation where they're forcing you to go and bail them out of something. That devil energy can be real, real toxic. Some of you are going to be leaving something or someone behind. Some of you are looking at the progression of where you're going next and seeing another opportunity take shape. And that opportunity that's taking shape is going to help you deal with the fears of the past, the fears of inadequacy, the fears of not being enough. Now, your final card is the Justice card. Justice is associated with Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is making a conjunction to Jupiter in this full moon. There must be balance. We can't charge headfirst into everything. I know what I said, Aries risings. You are Mars ruled. I am Mars ruled. I get it. Charge headfirst, be a ram, be stubborn. I get that. But the thing about Venus is Venus rules your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. There's a certain amount of balance that is necessary for you guys. And the opportunity is starting to present itself, a shift in the way that you communicate, a shift in the way that you work, a shift in the way that you are connecting to people. But this is the start of a shift, not just a full shift in the moment. For some of you, it will be both. For some of you, you will be bailing somebody out for the last time. For some of you, you're going to be making a full commitment knowing that this is a one and done commitment. And it's a mixed bag. We're all in different areas. We're all in different stages of life. For some of you, this can be intense. For others, it won't be intense at all. The rest of your card speaks to something very strong, very hopeful, financially beneficial in a multitude of ways with that Jupiter Venus conjunction in your second house of money. The possibilities are endless. But so too can be the spending. So be aware if we're going a little overindulgent in the spending category. Okay. Okay. Moving this along. We're gonna get to Taurus and Taurus risings. Now, this is a full moon in your 8th house. Debts, death, taxes, inheritance, investments. We can be making some changes in the financial areas. The sun is in your 2nd house of money, and it's making a trine to Pluto in your 10th house of career. The ruler of this full moon, Jupiter, is making a conjunction to your chart ruler, to Venus, in your 1st house. Part of what can be coming together for you can be offered from a friend, from someone you've known for a long time. It's helping you overcome some type of fear or past event tied to career, tied to your goals for the future. There's a lot of financial changes that are coming through. You have some new opportunity that you have recently decided upon. And I do mean you have recently decided upon. Why do I say that? Because we just had all of those conjunctions to Uranus and Jupiter in your first house. And this is the final Jupiter conjunction in your first house. You have made a lot of decisions. You thought that one way of doing things was going to work in the past, but it didn't work in your way, didn't work in your favor. So now we're looking at another opportunity. We're looking at more control. We're looking at something different. We're looking for something to go our way in a different way. We had a lot of things shaken up for us, a lot of blindsiding energy that happened through the month of April that now has forced us to make certain decisions. We understand the truth now, the facts, the figures. We understand some new energy, and we're progressing with it. We're moving forward in some way. But even by moving forward, many of you are leaving something or someone behind. This is both an ending and a beginning simultaneously with the way this is coming through. So let's be prepared for that. Again, you had a lot of blindsiding energy that occurred in the recent weeks whenever it comes to everything that was going on in Aries. The Mercury retrograde, the eclipse axis, those Aries transits, they brought a lot of things to light. And you discovered a lot of things that have been going on behind your back. You discovered things did not mesh well with where you wanted to be, to how you wanted to continue, how you wish to be seen. And now we're in the process of leaving a lot of those things behind. We know the truth. We got the facts, we got the figures, we got the receipts, Ace of Swords. But not only that, we know whatever we're leaving behind, whatever mess this is, wherever we're going next has got to be better than what we're leaving behind. That's a truth we're willing to accept. Doesn't matter how cloudy it feels, how unknown the next chapter is going to be. With the Six of Swords, wherever we're going next is better than where we have been. And that's the truth. So much is meant to come to light. So much is meant to be built from here. And you know it. You felt it. You felt the attention. You felt the pressure. You have felt the need to make all of these decisions and do something a very certain way. In some ways, you've had to be a little bit stingy. In other ways, you've had to be the most giving person in the room. And the thing is, you're always willing to be both. But now, wherever we're going next requires us to be both. And that's not always easy whenever it comes to Taurus rising. So it depends on the rest of your chart. We have new information, Page of Swords, new direction, new path, new facts, new figures, new reality that lacks emotion. That's the Page of Swords that we're progressing with, that we're doing things with. And with the Page of Coins, there is that hope, there is that promise, there is abundance. There's a lot of control that you guys have had to, there's a lot of decisions that fell into your control. I said that backwards. Based off this Page of Coins. You know the opportunity. You know where things are going. You have made the decisions as to how they will progress from here. Based off of the facts, the figures, and the receipts, and based off what you felt was best for you moving forward. Any fears that you have towards what the future is going to look like is going to change based off of what's happening following this full moon. There's a lot of financial changes. Some of you are going to be having to spend more money very quickly that you weren't anticipating. Little repairs around the house, having to buy new furniture, having to buy something new. Some of you, it's not going to be the costs or expenses at all. It's just going to be a change in the way that you make money. And that's going to be a big part of what starts to get reborn as we go through the transits of June, because there is a rebirth coming, specifically whenever it comes to Venus. The opportunity and the commitment that we're making around this full moon is going to lead to that financial change and that financial progression with where we're going next. Some of you guys are going to be spending money to make money. You need to be prepared for that. Some of you are just making all the changes in your career, and it's going to just be changing the way that you make money. But a lot of this, whatever it is based off of your recent decisions. And now you're going to deal with the aftermath in some ways, the consequences in others. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Gemini and Gemini risings. Now, at the end of the weekly episode, I gave you guys a very special message. I said, once we get into these Gemini transits, the delay that we have been dealing with forever, it is over. You have been dealing with so many things in your 12th house. Jupiter in your 12th house has really done a number on a lot of you guys. And it has forced you to do a lot of internal work and healing. The thing about this full moon is it's in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. Many of you are going to be wrapping up some kind of partnership because the truth has been told. The truth has been understood. And now we're moving forward with some type of truth. We are moving forward with new information. We know somebody is stuck in their ways and that they're never going to change. So the only way that we can see change is to finally let go of something and charge ahead in the best way that is going to work for us. For some of you, that's a boss. For some of you, that's a relationship. For some of you, that's a business partnership. Some of you are finally going to be taking control of something. Things that have been going on for so long are going to finally fall into a place where you can grab control of the situation, where you can feel more in control of the situation. You know where you're at. You know what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with the health aspects of Jupiter in your 12th and Venus in your 12th now, then what's going to happen after this full moon, based off of the connection to another person, is the awareness of where you need to focus in your body and in your health moving forward. For some people, this is not a great full moon because of the Venus-Jupiter conjunction's placement for you guys. It can either be something that's really wrapping up a past situation, having something finally come together, but in this 12th house energy, whatever is coming together is an ending. It's giving a solution to something. Okay, it's giving a solution to something. It's getting the final chapter of something. It's allowing for something to finally come to a close, come to a commitment, come to a settlement. And then whatever the results of that settlement are is what you're running with. It's what you're moving forward with. Whatever the results of what the doctor says to you is what you're aware of. And it's what you're running with. So be aware of that. This Emperor energy, again, we've got bosses that are stuck in their ways. Many of my Gemini risings, you've been going through hell whenever it comes to career. And we're tired of dealing with the frustration of somebody that doesn't want to change, that only sees one perspective, that only wants to do things the way they want to do them. And many of you are willing to accept a whole different truth that you're going to charge forward with. In there, okay, Knight of Swords. We're going to finally know a different truth that we're going to pursue. We're willing to accept something for exactly the way that it has showed itself. And we're going to break away from a certain situation and go in our own direction and go in our own path, an path that is emblazing before us in the days following this full moon. Between this full moon and the new moon in Gemini, there will be a whole different energy tied to your truth, your way of thinking, your way of doing things, your perspective. A new path is starting to arise, and you are following that in so many ways. You're leading the trail. Some of you are having to enact based off of the truth and the facts of the information. The thing about all of these air, the swords, is this is air energy. So much of what is going on is going to fall onto you in the way that you handle information, the way that you handle the care for yourself, the way that you start to handle the treatments, the way that you start to progress forward into your new job, into your new chapter, the way that you finally say goodbye to whoever the hell has been stuck in their ways and making your life a living hell. Whatever this is, allows for you to finally get balance. Feel hope again, rebuild your confidence again. Whatever you have made the decision to separate from and move forward with is going to restore so much within you. Whatever is coming to light, if it has to do with your health, because many of you have been dealing with the health things, whatever is coming to light, if it's having to do with your health, is going to make you aware of the facts and how you need to handle something moving forward, what you need to change in your personal care moving forward, where you need to make an adjustment and transform moving forward. Many of you will go through some type of different awareness and will be making some type of physical change in your form between now and that new moon in Gemini. So over the course of the next 2 weeks, be prepared for that. There's a lot coming. New things coming. Rebirthing coming. A rebuilding of your personal strength and your confidence, which is a long time coming. It's going to start over these next few weeks following this full moon and following whatever comes to a completion. Okay? Okay. Moving this along, we're going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. My loves, a full moon in your 6th house is a very interesting thing because it's really shifting the way you are working within your routine, the way that you're caring for yourself, the way that you're caring for other people. Considering the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is happening in your 11th house of friends and network and clients, we're looking at something that's going to directly impact the way that you're connecting with people. For many of you, you've recently made changes in your job. There's a whole shifting perspective of everything that happened in Aries throughout the month of April. And now some of you are dealing with the final steps of that, the final adjustments and the changes. You're getting a trajectory in mind. For some of you, you didn't make changes until things were presented to you. And there can be an opportunity that comes through in this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. An unexpected opportunity that has come through over the last few weeks. A different mindset and a different perspective of how you wish to move forward into new territory, because many of you are going into a new direction and you're going into new territory. And it is all based off of the decisions that happened back in April. There's a new way of doing things. And whatever that new way is going to put you in some uncharted territory for a while following this full moon. It doesn't mean you're not doing the right thing. It just means you're going to have to make some transitions. You're going to have to make some changes. And you're going to have to do things you're not used to having to do. But you know how to express yourself and you know how to stand tall on your beliefs. So stand tall on them. It's the best thing for you as we go through the next lunar month ahead. And by lunar month, I mean full moon to full moon. There's a transition that's going to come. You have to change something in your routine. You have to change something in your work. The closer you get to certain people, especially people within your family, you're going to learn more and more and more who is doing well and who is not. There can be something tied to your pets in this full moon. There can be something tied to the welfare of other people, people that you care about, people that you take care of in this full moon. And it can make you aware of something else that's going to come much later. For a lot of the cardinal signs, there's an awareness that's opening up in this energy that many of you are not going to know how to deal with it, or you don't know what you're seeing in the moment. You don't necessarily understand the full elements of what's coming to light. But for a lot of Cancer risings, whatever comes to light over this full moon and the next two, this is very specific to Cancer risings. I'm not saying this to everybody. And you guys know me, intuition starts to take over whenever I do these things. Whatever is starting to come to light and get triggered following this full moon, as more and more of those transits come into Gemini, are making you aware of where you're going to have to make bigger changes once we get into September, October, and November, when we have to go back to unfinished or old things in the energy. This is going to trigger some things that are going to affect later based off of the decisions that have already been made, Two of Coins, and the decisions that are starting to present themselves in the moment. The thing is, they won't necessarily feel like they're presenting themselves in a clear way. It's going to take some time for the full understanding and revelation to be clear. There is something directly about whatever is happening next that's going to make Cancer risings feel uneasy, feel a little perturbed, and feel like they have to be very, very clear on their definition of what they're wanting presented. You're going to have to defend some of your beliefs. You're going to have to defend your stance on certain things. You're going to have to defend and make people see the light sun card as to who you are, what you're capable of, and what you're doing next. So many of you are going to be going and doing new things and starting new chapters and new beginnings, new opportunities with people that are either more established than you, that hold more money than you, that are used to doing things a different way compared to what you have done. And it's almost like you're going to have to convince them, going back to the Seven of Wands, convince them of otherwise. These all seem to go together. The immediate impact of this full moon might not be great. It might just be a shift in your routine, a shift in your work, a shift in your environment. The longer impact will come through once we start to get into the Capricorn full moons. Plural, moons, because we get two of them, guys. So again, what can start to come together in this energy following this full moon can start to show you inklings of where we're going to have disruptions and changes later this year. Keep your eyes open. Journal, notate, pay attention. There is a pattern. And many of you are going to have to start to realize that you're going to have to let some old things go, let some old ideas go, so that way you can progress once we get into late June and early July. Okay. Okay. And I am starting to hear the thunder because the storms are moving back in, because that's fun. Yes, that's a lot of fun. Anyways, stupid storms. All right, for Leos and Leo risings, my loves, this ain't a bad full moon for you guys. This is a full moon in your fifth house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. You could be looking at connecting with someone like an old friend going, hey, I miss your face. How are you doing? And you might be able to make a really good connection, but at the same time, you might also get blocked. Be prepared for that. Now, why do I say all that? Because the sun will go through a trine with Pluto, who is now retrograde in your seventh house of relationships. So if you try to connect with that old friend, some of you, it's going to go well. And you're going to be able to have happy times all over again. And you're going to have some great connection. That'll be so fun. And then others, not going to be great. You're going to get blocked. You're just going to have to move on. And you're going to have to talk to somebody else. Now, this is a full moon in your fifth house of luck. Let's hold on to that luck category for just a little bit longer. The ruler of this full moon, Jupiter, is in your 10th house of career, public image, your goals for the future. Something is coming together in this area. It is finalizing in this area. What's interesting with you guys is that this is coming together in that 10th house of career, but it's making the sextile from Neptune, that we're finalizing something that could have a financial element. We're finalizing something that could have a legal element. We're finalizing something that's going to then change the way we connect with other people, the way that we connect with community. Now, for some people, whatever we're going into next is not new energy. It's something that was disrupted and came through all since that Mercury retrograde. Now, that Mercury retrograde, though, it happened in the 9th house. So for some of you, this is going to be about finalizing something to a travel commitment, finalizing something tied to faith, tied to schools, tied to institutions, allowing something to finally come together, committing to some kind of plan, knowing that it's going to change the way you see other people. If you're having to move after this, it's because that's going to be the other people, because you're going to have a new neighborhood, you're going to have new schools, going to have a new grocery store. Like, it's going to change the way you see other people and change the way you see things in community. For some of you, you're looking at the idea of going back to school. And by going back to school, you're going to change the way that you connect with people. You're looking at something, some type of unexpected opportunity at work. And if you take that opportunity at work, it's going to lead to some type of new department, new role, new way of doing things, a new commitment. There's a lot of possibilities whenever it comes to the 10th house. What kind of goals have we been working on? What kind of friendships and connections and commitments have we been working towards? Because all of them have been helping us get closer to overcoming something from the past. Tower card. I'm going to start with this. This was actually the first card that came out. You are in the middle of a 5th house, love, luck, romance, joy, happiness, and children transit. But you've also had a hellacious energy working against you guys literally since the early parts of last year, when Pluto started its first ingress into Aquarius, and then that Venus retrograde that happened in your 1st house. And a lot of things tied to the past, tied to old ways of thinking, that are going to get tested. And how we ever take the steps forward is meant to help us overcome certain types of fear. We have been trying to press one way the whole time, and it's not working. It hasn't been working. And no matter how hard we try, it's like we're constantly hitting this brick wall of overwhelm. And that was that Mercury retrograde. That was that trip to the classroom. That was that trip into the courtroom. That was that talking with the lawyer. That was going into that boss appointment. That was dealing with certain people at your work. That is just creating drama all of the time. That overwhelm. So much of where that overwhelm has been is falling away. Putting these together. It's falling away based off of the new information that has come through, Ace of Wands, and our ability to finally overcome the arguments tied to what has held us back. All of those Uranian transits had sudden things that were meant to come through, unexpected, unplanned things that were meant to come through. There were a lot of you that over the last few weeks, you have had sudden and unplanned situations that have impacted where you were going, and where you felt like you were beating your head against a brick wall over and over again. It's like you finally got that message. This is not a new card. This is the same card again, this Ace of Wands. It's like you finally got that message that nobody else has been able to make clear or make sound real until now. Ace of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Wands. It's like you finally talk to somebody who gets your issues, that gets the problems, that gets the trauma, that gets everything that's happened to you. And it's giving you the chance to trust moving forward, trust in a different direction, trust in a different commitment, trust in something or someone that you couldn't trust before. Now, here's the devil's advocate part of what I'm saying. Leo risings. As we start to go through the 11th house transits, it's going to be really easy over the next year to confuse friends with lovers. Be aware of that. You have this ability to be attracting so many people in your surroundings that you can get to the point that you confuse something in someone. So be aware of that, because some of the relationships, if they become intimate, and this is a 5th house full moon, which is also a sex house, if they become intimate, they can be with the wrong person and not your forever person. And if you're not mentally and emotionally prepared for that, if you're not, then don't do it, because you can get hurt really fast, really bad. So all in all, there's something that's meant to be presented. There's something that's meant to come through, something that's meant to be helpful and hopeful and healing and changing the way you see the future and changing the way you see commitments and relationships in a whole bunch of ways. But I'm always devil's advocate. I'm fair warning you of the other side of that too. And there's some other part of this that you're not seeing clearly, that don't necessarily know when you will. So there's that. Okay, moving this along. We're going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. This is a full moon in your 4th house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, genetics. Not a lot of people bring up genetics with the 4th house, but I do, because I've experienced it. So again, this is not going to be the funnest, easiest full moon for a lot of you. Many of you are going to finally feel like you have hit some type of wall. Many of you are going to get to some point where you feel like you are finally willing to walk away from where you have been and go on some new path. Some of you are committing to travel in a lighter sense. Some of you are having something illuminate as to where you're going next in career. And that's going to be a lot bigger as we go through the rest of the Gemini transits. We're at the start of those. Now, in the most mundane sense, a 4th house full moon can be something going on with the family, making a change in the home life, having something going on around mothers or matrons, something along these lines. But more of you, I feel like, can be doing something tied to travel, looking at the idea of relocation, getting some type of news from another person or another situation or an opportunity from another person that you were not anticipating, that is now shifting that trajectory, is now shifting that direction, that is now showing you how you're going to move forward from here. It is shifting your goals in a multitude of ways. That Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your 9th house can have you guys traveling in the moment. but it can also be changing your awareness to some much bigger things going into the future. So not all of you are going to be having the best time. The thing about Neptune in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters, he's not always clear with how his energy is going to come through. So the first card out was this Devil card, followed by this 10 of Wands. The ruler of your fourth house of home, home life, and family is Jupiter, making a conjunction to Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Some of you might be getting overwhelmed. Some of you might be dealing with things from the past. Some of you might be dealing with toxic elements in your family for the last time and telling somebody, we ain't family no more. I don't live here anymore. I'm moving out. I have my own place, my own life, my own rules, my own way of doing things. And this old way of doing things, that's not for me anymore. I got a whole new direction. I have a whole new path. I have a whole new journey. I have new things that I want to do for me that's best for me. Ace of Wands, Queen of Coins. Whatever decisions we're making in the weeks around this full moon, so the 2 weeks coming into it and the 2 weeks following it, are all going to have to do with long-term decisions in good ways and bad ways. So the newness of what's coming through is going to continue to come through, and it's going to continue to impact the big picture of where you see certain decisions, how you are connecting to institutes, where you are seeing a difference in your career, how you are looking at a new way of caring for yourself and caring for other people. So much of the new has promise to it. So much of the new, though, might not be coming through until the last minute, because the source was either very undecided for quite some time, was unclear about whether they were making the decision or not, or didn't have the time to tell you anything until the last minute. And that still comes down to the fact that your seventh house is very, very activated to the situation. And Jupiter also rules that seventh house. Neptune, the other ruler of the seventh, is in the seventh, making an aspect to this Jupiter. So there's some part of this decision that's not yours, that's based off another person. It's based off your relationship. It's based off a commitment or something tied to another person, King of Swords. And once they give their opportunity, their decision, their way of thinking with this Page of Wands, once they present something, then the promise is going to come through afterwards, 10 of Coins. The promise in how you see the future and how you see things changing and where you're going next. And a lot of you are going to have a lot of changes in regards to career and your goals for the future that will start to unfold between this full moon and the new moon in Gemini. So this is a really big dynamic 2 weeks for you guys. That's going to shift a mindset, shift a pattern, and shift a way of thinking from here. This isn't your card, this is the deck. Okay. Moving this along. All right. For Libras and Libra risings, this is a full moon in your third house of communication, short distance travel. Oh, marketing, branding. There can also be things tied to community with the third house. Venus, your chart ruler, is making a conjunction to Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter rules where this full moon is. There is a shift for you in regards to something with communication, with travel, could be with your cars, could also be with a sibling. But for many of you, it's going to have to do with a partnership finally coming full circle and finally being able to do something different. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction is happening in your 8th house, which is about investments, taxes, other opportunities, the way that you connect to other people's money. There's a financial element involved for you guys, but it's also leading to things tied to institutions. You're going to have to make some big financial decisions that are going to result in either traveling once everything goes into Gemini, or it's going to have to deal with how you deal with institutions. So like we're having to make the financial decision to do something different in our health, do something different for little Johnny's schooling, do something different in regards to like helping somebody in jail. This is not going to be fun, but I keep hearing the jail thing for a couple of people. And there's going to be some Libra risings that end up having to hear about this. Jails are in prisons or institutions too. There is something tied to a change in institutions and how you're communicating with someone and how you're going to be experiencing something moving forward. Many of you are going to be learning through new experience over the weeks ahead because you're not used to doing the things that you're used to doing. And for many of you, it is also impacting relationships tied to children or childhood. And that comes down to the fact that while the full moon is perfecting, the sun is going to go through a trine with Pluto. This full moon is going to be in a sextile to Pluto. The first card that you guys had come out was this Death card. That's a Plutonian card. So we also got to talk about the Pluto aspect for you guys. For some of you, whatever you're going to be experiencing next is going to take you away from your kids in some way. It's going to change the way you are connecting with children in some way. It doesn't always have to be bad. It can also be changing the way that we deal with fears and traumas tied to loved ones. Childlike behavior, finally being able to pull something forward, being able to make some type of commitment towards some new level of personal happiness. That new commitment's not going to be a fast one, though. It's going to take some time. But with the way the eclipse axis has gone for you guys, a lot of you, the way that you connect and commit to other people has definitely been meant to change. And you know that. You've had all the tests. You've had all the frustrations. And now for many of you, you're looking at the opportunities as to where you're going to go next. So moving along. We have the Death card. We have the Magician. Get this out. And we have the Seven of Coins. Again, a lot of what's starting to get presented and where you're going to be gaining new experiences moving forward, they're not going to be fast moving energies, especially with that Seven of Coins. The Seven of Coins, like we plant the seeds knowing that we're going to get the fruit later. It's going to take time for something to gestate. It's going to take time for something to actually manifest into big financial returns. But that Jupiter-Venus conjunction in your 8th house, that means the returns are going to come. The results of something are going to come. Now with this Magician, that's an alchemy type of energy. I mean, you're all in different places. You're all in different stages. You're all dealing with things differently. Some of you are going to be changing the way that you communicate. Some of you are going to be changing the way that you are caring for yourself and caring for people in your surroundings. Some of you are changing some things in your finances so you can focus on something in your health. Some of you are having to cut back because you're making some type of commitment differently in your workplace. And it's going to take time for everybody to understand that. Seven of Wands. But you know that this new chapter and this new beginning has been very, very necessary. You know, going in a different direction is very, very necessary. After that Seven of Wands, we got the Fool card, we got the Nine of Cups, and the 10 of Coins. Some of you had temporary setbacks. That was the universe telling you to wait. Some of you made an active choice to just wait for something to turn around. And you've been in a waiting game for a while. But now there has been something that has come through that has shown you you don't have to wait any longer. And the expansion of that information, the expansion in that communication, that transition that we go into next is either going to be having you really test your faith with all of the Gemini transits that are going to start up. It is going to change the way that you connect to institutions, whether that's a medical institution, financial institution, a prison system, school system, whatever it is. It's going to change the way that you look at institution. It's going to have you learning new things in the moment through experience. But for some of you, this is all about travel. And in the moment, in the most mundane sense, you are traveling. And by going into that different place, by going into that different area, by doing something different with your partner, you're getting a break from yourself and from the energy, which is finally allowing for you to decompress. But not everybody's traveling. Not everybody's going to be buying a new car. Some of you are. Third house full moon with the Venus, Jupiter in your eighth. Yeah, some of you are. Others are not. And the way that you are going to be experiencing something moving forward is going to shift following this full moon. Okay. Okay. We're moving this along. We're going to get to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. This is a full moon in our second house of money, our assets. That ruler, Jupiter, is making a conjunction to Venus in that seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. After the conjunction and after the full moon, all of these transits are going to move into that eighth house of death, debt, taxes, inheritance, and finances. Some of you are going to be getting a whole different awareness in your psychic energy once we get into those eighth house transits. And you need to be aware of that. Oh, your intuition will be very, very strong, and it will be warning you of things well before they hit. And you've already been experiencing that. It's just knowing the difference between your intuition and your ego. Not all of you do. The biggest way to tell the difference is your anxiety. If whatever's presenting itself to you makes you feel anxious and question whether you're doing the right thing or not, you're just vibrating in that moment. That might not be your intuition. That might be your ego. You become very blinded and headstrong that something has to occur a certain way. That's your ego and not your intuition. There will be tests to your intuition and how strong it is once we get into these Gemini transits. For some of you, you're going to be making some big financial changes in this energy. You're going to agree to no longer be in commitment with another person because that Venus-Jupiter conjunction is happening in that seventh house of relationships at 29 degrees. And as soon as we make that agreement that we're not going to be committed, it's going to change the way that we connect and share assets and money. For some of you, this is going to lead from a legal situation to a debt, taxes, payout type of energy. Those are the more negative things. More positively, though, whatever comes together, whatever partnership is finally getting committed to, is again going to be something that expands your horizons and changes the way that you connect with money. Changes the way that you're making money, changes the way that you're connecting with clients, changes the way that you're connecting with other people. Some of you are prepared for that. Others are not. Really, if you've been listening to me for a while, you should be prepared because this has been energy that's been unfolding since last year. And I've said that for a while. Some of us, whatever happened in that Mercury retrograde and whatever happened in eclipse season is fixing to hit the next level. If you were starting something big and you were starting something new, then you're going to see the results of that. You're going to see the benefits of that. However, if you didn't start something new or you sat on your hands, then you're going to see the negative impacts of that. And you're going to regret not listening and not being prepared. Okay. This is an energy that again speaks to both a beginning and ending simultaneously. This is a very much a level up new moon and full moon, and whatever is coming through with this full moon is going to immediately transition into another area. So again, 5 of Cups energy. The thing about the 5 of Cups is, like in the traditional deck, this is a guy who is crying over 3 spilled cups that are underneath him, not paying attention to. Right next to him are 2 filled cups. You have 2 hands, 2 cups, still have stuff in them. You still have things that are working for you. Stay focused on what you have and not what you have lost. And some of you in this moment are going to go through a loss with that 10 of Swords, but it's an agreed loss. an agreed separation, an agreed adjustment, because it's happening at 29 degrees. However, not all of you will be going through the negativity. Not all of you will be going through loss. In fact, you are going to finally be able to make the decision to commit to something and someone that's going to impact your community. It's going to impact your surroundings. It's going to come back to the way that you connect with people. And again, some of us are prepared for that. Others are not. I'm a country girl. It is better to hit the target with a double barrel than a single barrel. It is better to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. Based off of whatever changed for you throughout the months of March and April, please understand that all of that was preparing you for you to make said commitments and said changes moving forward into new direction. Listen to your intuition. Listen to what gives your heart happiness. And make sure you're looking at other people that you're making commitments to, that you're going into partnership with clear eyes and not just the puppy dog eyes. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the 7th house, for some of you, it is going to be a long-term commitment in the romantic sense. For others, it's going to be business partners. You need to be clear-headed as best as you can. Don't just look for sunshine and rainbows. Be prepared that this person has a mission, that they're on a path, that they have a trajectory in mind when it comes to the King of Wands. For some of you, you have a trajectory in mind, and you need to be making sure that you do everything possible to cover your bases moving forward. And also be prepared for secrets. Secrets are more likely to start to get exposed once we go through things in the 8th house. Affairs can get exposed once we go through things in the 8th house. We've had some affair energy that's been kind of building for a while. Be prepared for the worst. Hope for the best. But really, this should be a very big transition for us in regards to the ways that we make money and spend money and connect with other people. So specifically our clients and our friends moving forward. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. Babies. This is a full moon in your 1st house. Changing things about you, who you are, what you desire, the way that you are meant to be seen. And a lot of you has to do with the work that you have been doing on an individual level. Jupiter, your chart ruler, is wrapping up its tour through Taurus this week. But right before this full moon perfects, we have that Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your 6th house of health, how you care for yourself and how you care for other people. And there will be something tied to the way that you do work, the way that you care for yourself, the way that you have been caring for someone else, that is going to change. It is going to transition, and it is going to lead to new ways of connecting with people and being seen by other people. That can be good and that can be bad. But there is meant to be a whole different energy in the way that you are seen by other people, in the way that you are expressed and understood by other people moving forward. It is time, in so many ways, to leave behind the past, leave behind the frustration, accept the truth for as it is, and move into some new direction. Some of you are going to finally have some things start to pan out for you at work. Some of you are going to finally have some things finally get understood in regards to your family, in regards to how you wish to progress from here and how things are going to move forward from here. There's some changes in the atmosphere. And for you guys, you need to pay attention to the next lunar month ahead, because the entire lunar month is going to speak to those changes. It's going to speak to how you progress and how you are seen. Some of you are prepared for that because you've been doing so much work for so long. You are just ready for that light to shine on your skin. For others, not so much. But over the course of the next month, the lunar month, so that's full moon to full moon, there's a huge change in your mind, in your body, and your ego, and it is going to be very aware and very noticeable by other people, because your chart ruler, Jupiter, is about to go into your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. There are things that are going to come through that are going to take you into another direction. There's not a lot of emotion with where we're going next. I'll be clear about that. You guys got a lot of swords here. But there is a lot of momentum. Now, again, 7 of Swords energy. There can still be some tensions. There can still be some frustrations. This is a full moon that instigates both a new chapter, a new beginning, and a completion simultaneously, with the Venus-Jupiter conjunction happening at 29 degrees. There can be something that speaks to betrayal, somebody feeling betrayed. You can feel betrayed based off of the way something is going forward with other people, the way progression is about to happen. And if you are not prepared for those hard truths, then please understand that it doesn't matter how you feel about it. Ace of Swords, 4 of Swords. New truths, new information, whether you are prepared or not. New ideas, whether you are prepared or not. 7 of Swords, Ace of Swords, 4 of Swords. This is all air cards, and we're going into Gemini season. The focus is going to be more tied to the ideas of those that you surround yourself with. Some of you are going to be ready to be seen in a new light. 3 of Wands, Sun card. It's time in a multitude of ways with this Wheel of Fortune card to be seen in a new light. And many of you are going to be very, very prepared for this next chapter, this next way of connecting, this new way of connecting, and this new thing that speaks to personal happiness and your faith, the things that bring you balance. Many of you are prepared for where you're about to go next, for being seen in a whole new light moving forward. Many of you are not. And you're going to feel like you have to take steps back, or you're going to have hesitancy. You shouldn't. So much of this energy is about trying to let go of the past, the heartache, the betrayals, and everything else, and discovering a new you. Now, the thing about a full moon in your 1st house is you don't immediately always discover the new you. And this is why I say you need to pay attention to the entire lunar month ahead and what starts to shift and change for you between this full moon and when the moon comes back into Sagittarius next month. So between now and June 19th, 20th, that's when the moon will come back into Capricorn. Or I'm sorry, Capricorn. The moon will come back into Sagittarius before the full moon in Capricorn, because that's going to be on the 21st. So knowing that energy, be prepared that this is going to make big shifts in your mind, in your body, in your ego, in your identity over the course of the entire lunar month ahead. A lot of the changes are about and around you. I hope you're prepared, but I know not all of you are. It is what it is. Okay. Moving this along, we're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. Now, I said something in the intro to you guys. I'm going to say it again. A full moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings can trigger an energy that requires healing, whether that is physical healing, something in your health, whether that is emotional healing and it's tied to the past wounds and the past traumas or anything like that. It does not matter. It is still healing. Now, the ruler of this full moon, Jupiter, is making a conjunction to Venus in your 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Some of you might have something finally come together around your kids that gives you hope, that gives you peace. That's a good thing. Some of you might be having something come together in your love life that gives you hope and gives you peace. And that'll be a good thing. Some of you might have something going on with a loved one, with a child, that leads to you making changes, maybe not in the immediate, but over the course of the next few months, making changes and allowing something or someone to fall away from you. For some of you, that's a more long-term energy. That's more of an end goal type of thing. And you know if you're on that path or not. You know if you're leaning in that direction or not, whether you're about to leave someone behind or not, leave something behind. Some of you can have someone from the past come back around in this full moon. Some of you can find yourself being called to reach out to somebody from the past and have some type of healing conversation, whether it's during the full moon, in the days up to this full moon, or the days following this full moon. The thing about the 12th house is that there are going to be a lot of things tied to the past. The thing about Venus and Jupiter's conjunction in your 5th house of love and luck and romance and joy and happiness and children is it can actually be a really happy full moon just as much as it can be a bad one. It can lead to a lot of things coming together just as much as it can lead to things falling apart. There's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of emotional preparedness that needs to be had. There's a lot of mental preparedness that needs to be had. And there's a lot of conversations and communication that still needs to be had, whether you like it or not. All right. Y'all got a lot of cards. Oh, my loves. Let me put these back because I just start piling them as always. Okay. When it comes to this energy, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Queen of Swords. Whether you are making a decision to connect to somebody from the past or let somebody go moving forward, with this Wheel of Fortune, it is time to find a way to heal something, because this is a 12th house full moon. Letting go of someone and cutting them off. Queen of Swords, followed by the 10 of Swords. If we are making the decision to cut something or someone off, it is because it is for our better judgment moving forward, our personal happiness moving forward. However, not everybody is needing to cut someone off to be able to heal. And that takes me to the other cards. We have the Six of Coins. We have the Lover's card. We have the King of Coins, and we have the Fool. Some of you, the 12th house energy is again something or someone from the past coming back around and reigniting some type of exchange, allowing for something to finally come together and to be healed in some way with the Lover's card. The King of Coins and the Fool card. The King of Coins wants to have charge over everything. Long-term plans and long-term goals, whatever he is making the play, it's meant to be long-term energy. But the Fool card is in the energy of getting close to starting a new chapter. You guys are getting really close to starting a new chapter, another chapter. And that's going to really come through once we get into those Capricorn full moons. Plural. Notice I said moons, because y'all got 2 of them. So there's some things that are going to come up in the near future that is going to make big changes for you guys on a personal level. For you to be able to make those big changes and accept that bigger energy and move forward in a good direction. You're going to have to either cut something or someone off, or finally cross over that bridge that leads to the healing energy that needs to commence. It's going to go either way. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Aquarius and Aquarius risings. Okay, my loves. Oh, this is a full moon in your 11th house of friends and network and colleagues. The ruler of this full moon, Jupiter, is making a conjunction to Venus in your 4th house of home and home life and family. Some of you might be having a friend move away. Some of you might be making changes to the way you see your home life and your household based off of the way another person has influenced your decision. And I do mean influence on the decision part. In the days leading up to this full moon, the sun made a trine to Pluto in your first house. You have been dealing with long-term situations and the long-term decisions that have been coming through for you since January. Whenever Pluto and the sun made their conjunction in Capricorn and moved into Aquarius back around January 19th and 20th. Some of y'all might remember those times. I remember those times. Oh, it resulted in a lot of big decisions in how you wish to let go of the past, how you wish to face a fear, how you wish to deal with personal changes. And now we're moving forward in an energy that is going to allow for you guys to either understand how you keep your personal power, change your personal power, overcome the past, and overcome trauma. Some of you are finally going to have something change in your family life and your home life that's going to finally allow for you to heal and go in some new direction. That Venus-Jupiter conjunction happening at 29-degree lines of your fourth house of home, home life, and family. A lot of y'all have been selling the family home. You've been in the process of selling it. You got it listed. You're in negotiations. You're doing something different. And by finally allowing for something to break free and break away, whether it's in this full moon or in the days following this full moon, or even in the days leading up, doesn't really matter. It's going to finally allow for you to make certain changes in regards to how you move forward in your personal happiness and how you are finally able to let go of the past that has been holding you back for so long. Okay. Oh, Lord. Got a lot of cards here. We got a lot of cards here, Aquarius. Okay. So, Tower card. A lot of you guys are selling the family home. Not everybody's happy about you guys selling the family home with 7 swords. Some of you, you're having to do it. And the thing is like other people are mad at you for it. They're feeling the betrayal. Some of you feel like it's a self-betrayal in certain ways. That's okay. It is a necessary chapter to have to separate from something or someone to finally be able to achieve some level of personal success and happiness. And that revelation judgment card is going to come through once the final levels of negotiation or adjustments are seen. And this is going to allow for a whole different level of like personal success to be felt with the 6 of Wands energy. So the 2 negative cards, we got the Tower card, we have the 7 of Swords, but with that Judgment card and the 6 of Wands, whatever is finally falling away in the family, within the home life, whatever is finally being understood is going to allow for us to understand something different in our personal happiness, in our personal growth. By separating from something or someone, we are going to see opportunities in this whole different area. And for some of you, that's going to be really, really great. And it's going to give you everything to your heart's content. 2 of Cups, Queen of Cups. We're going to be so happy. Things are going to come together. It's going to be so great. I'm going to be able to do all these things that I've always wanted to do because I'm going to have the money from this house. And I'm going to go be happy. I'm going to travel. I want to do this and that. And it's going to be great. For others, though, it's going to be some part of the healing process. By selling the family home, you sell the home where your abuse happened, where your trauma happened. And it is one more step in your healing process. Letting go of the past, letting go of the trauma, and finding a new version of yourself. Pluto is in your first house. You guys are at the start of a 20-year cycle. And the biggest thing I have to say to Aquarius risings was whatever decisions you make moving forward, you need to make sure that you are staying on top of your personal situation and that you are staying in control as best as possible. Because with Pluto in your first, you welcome energies and welcome situations to where you will not be in control. But going into the Gemini transits, the Sun in Gemini, Venus in Gemini, and Jupiter in Gemini, so much of this can be about expanding our knowledge, learning new things about ourselves. experiencing new things, healing those things tied to the psychological factors that go back to our childhood, as well as they can be the other side of us finding new ways of having personal happiness. If we're looking at the big picture, so many of us are getting into a new direction. We're looking at a new place to call home. We're looking for a new chapter and a new beginning and a place to create new traditions. But those new traditions will not completely be able to set in immediately. They're going to take time. And for some of you, that time is going to be all the way up to 2 years, because it's not going to happen until after Uranus leaves Taurus. And that's not going to fully happen until 2026. So there's that. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Pisces and Pisces risings. Oh, my loves. This is a full moon in your 10th house of career, your goals, your hopes and dreams for the future, your desires, how you wish to be seen, how you wish to be heard, where you wish to have success. There is going to be a change in the way that you see something moving forward into the future. For some of you, that's because you had to make some kind of hard decision. In the recent transits, that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, the Sun-Jupiter conjunction, the Venus-Uranus conjunction, and now the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. This is a full moon that speaks to both endings and beginnings simultaneously. In the days around this full moon, we have something that has come to an end, something that has come to a closeout. And now it's going to lead to some new chapter, new beginning, new focus, new ideas, new decisions, and allow for you to finally break out of your mental prison. That's going to be a little bit harder for you to accept and a little bit harder for you to understand. I've been really hopeful and happy for you guys whenever it comes to the Saturn energy in your first, but not all of you have been experiencing that weight very, very well. Some of you are looking to make big changes in your home life, in your family, and you're going to be confident in some ways in your decision. You're going to question your sanity in other ways. Because many of you, the new chapter in your home life, that new chapter within your family, is going to bring up a lot of old wounds. It's going to bring up a lot of insecurities. It's going to bring a lot of the past. And that's not going to be fun. Tower card, 9 of Swords. The thing about the Tower card is that it is the only card in the deck that truly has to do with the structure. We're going into Gemini season, and that is your 4th house of home life, and family. There's going to be a lot of energies moving forward that is going to shift your focus onto your family. For some of you, that's going to be very quick energy. For others of you, not so quick, and it's going to last a while. Why do I say that? Because Jupiter, the ruler of your full moon, the ruler of your chart ruler, sorry, I said that backwards. One of your chart rulers is about to move into that 4th house of home life, and family. And we've got some grand idea of like, this is how everything's going to look in the house, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be like this, and this is going to be the routine, and this is going to be your room, and this is going to be Johnny's room. And we've got something in mind. But the thing is, we haven't fully accepted the full elements of how we're going to heal of something with the 9 of Swords. There's still some elements of the energy and the decisions that we must face. And some of you, it's going to be very, very good. For others, not so much. Some of you have made the decision. Some of you are about to make more. 2 of Coins, 2 of Swords. You've made certain decisions blind as to what the possibilities were, because Neptune is in your 1st house. Even though that's going to finally be ending soon, literally over the course of the next 2 years, Neptune has given a little bit of an element of delusion in some ways as to how something is going to progress. There is going to be some elements of what is progressing from here that you are still not sure about. But the decision is final because you've already made the move. The boxes are packed. The kids have already picked their rooms. The furniture is going to get delivered. Something is changing. Something is changing within your siblings. Something is changing within your community, within your environment, within your neighborhood. Something is changing within your family. Queen of Swords, Sun card, King of Wands. Whatever is starting to unfold in your home life, whatever is starting to unfold in your home, with your family, in your surroundings, there's a certain amount of truth that must be faced with the Queen of Swords. There's a certain amount of accountability and responsibility that must be upheld, Queen of Swords. Some of you will be struggling with the responsibilities of the decisions that you have made. And you will question every time something new comes to light. Now, for some of you, that's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen over the lunar month ahead, full moon to full moon. For others of you, that's going to be something that becomes a big part of the next year once Jupiter goes into Gemini. That's going to happen on Saturday. But Jupiter will be there until June 9th of 2025. It's a long time. There will be some things and some decisions we are making right now. We will not stick to them. We will not see them the same way. That we're only getting part of the story and we're not understanding the full elements of the desires, path, dignity, integrity of another person, of their ideas, of what they're wanting, of what they're committing us to, where they're seeing commitments with us and for us, how we are seeing them in a commitment. There is some element of the energy at hand, even though it's hopeful and healing, and it's helping us get over the past, and it's helping us get over all of these things. There's some element we are not seeing clearly. And regretfully, that is because Neptune is in your first house, impacting the decision of the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. Some of what you are dealing with is going to have to deal with your siblings. It's going to have to deal with people that you surround yourself with. And it's going to do something that impacts the family. It will not be a short-term impact for many of you. And you need to be prepared for that, and you need to be aware of that. Because a lot of what's about to shift is going to impact home life, family, roots, ancestry, and even genetics. And I know that part sounds weird, but the genetics of something. Illnesses can be genetic in some ways. Conditions can be genetic. Making sure everybody has the same parents also goes into genetics. And there can be things that come up in this area that need to be expanded upon, understood, and known, that is going to impact the wellness of the family. A 10th house full moon can also have to do with fathers and the wellness of the family. There is something that is shifting that is meant to be healing, but might not necessarily be immediately healing whenever it comes to what's happening next within the family. Okay. I'm not going to do a big thing on the ending. I don't usually on the full moons anyways. There's a lot of energy from this full moon that, again, it speaks to both endings and beginnings simultaneously. We're moving into something where we're completing one element, but moving into the next, transitioning into the next. This is a very transitional full moon, and I hope it goes well for everybody. Don't forget to message me if you're wanting to set up your readings. And again, if you're going to set up a reading and you're an existing client of mine and you're paying the full price, then that, of course, is coming with a BOGO special. So I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. And yeah, subscribe.